always nice to be able to get together and meditate together and think of life together. Thank you. Our theme today is Cultivating Divine Friendship. And the inspirational quote to get us thinking that direction is from Paramahansa Yogananda, who is the teacher of Sunburst's founder, Norman Paulson. Through perfected divine friendship, mutually seeking spiritual perfection, you will find the one great friend. Right away, that quote makes me think, who is this one great friend that I want to know? That sounds fantastic. Probably most of us can relate to how satisfying it is to find a friend that we share something in common with. You find out somebody has a similar interest, maybe a similar hobby. You didn't know that maybe they played a certain instrument or something, or any kind of thing that you share in common. And especially like the more closely you hold the thing in your heart, and then you find out somebody else shares that in common, really is a special connection. So if you're here and you came to a meditation service, you must either have an interest or curiosity at least about meditation. And that is a big part of why Sunburst exists, to be a space and it's not just a physical space anymore. We have people living all over now. That is a place to connect in what is so dear to each one involved, is that finding that one great friend, realizing that presence that's within each one of us. So none of us are, this is not to say that any of us are doing it exactly copying each other, because I love the quote by Rumi that says, there are as many paths to God as there are souls on earth. Because even when they share a huge overlap or similarity, every one of us is a unique soul. And so our connection to our source, the divine, whatever name you wish to give that consciousness and energy, is going to be a unique one. And I also particularly love naming that spirit energy as the one great friend, because it reminds me that one of the things I like about Sunburst that I've found so helpful in my life is the many different names that we use for God or for the greater energy and consciousness and being that is all around us, holding all of this creation, where it came from, where it dissolves back into. I am that I am. You can say God. You can say Divine Mother, Father. I think like the mother of all mothers, the father of all fathers, the friend behind all friends, or something like that. I think I'm paraphrasing slightly maybe, but Yogananda had something like that. And ultimately, all those things lead us to realize no one name can fully encapsulate God, can fully encapsulate the divine. Like those are all finite concepts, all finite descriptions, finite words. And even when we think it, there's even still then like a finiteness to that. And so we're leading ourselves to the place almost where we're jumping off into the formless, to the unmanifest, and to realize that and to work together towards that is exciting, to be able to be gathered together, working together for that. But it's nice to have those different ways to describe the divine that help lead us towards that. And so today we'll be thinking about the great friend and how friendship in our own lives can help lead us that direction towards that loving presence and towards the presence that we all came from, that we're all made of. Like, what else is there? There's nothing in the universe besides God. And how do we figure that out about ourselves? I mean, even those of us sitting here interested in this, we're not 100% of the time operating from that viewpoint, let alone people who aren't even interested are probably also not always operating from that viewpoint. So the more we can draw towards that, the more we can operate that way, make our choices that way. Norm taught meditation, and Sunburst continues to teach meditation. And that's a big part of the practice, where we look within for that presence and be able to experience it directly within ourselves. So that's a cornerstone of Sunburst and of Yogananda's teachings and all the lineage prior. And there were also a lot of living, like practical how to live life points that Norm shared and that Yogananda shared, and also all the way back. You find both of those elements in even the ancient text, the Yoga Sutras. And so at Sunburst, there are 8 paths. That's one of the aspects that we look at, is like these different parts of our life that we make choices about. How do we approach those in a conscious way that's going to support us realizing the divine in our lives and within ourselves and out in our outer lives? So those 8 paths are recreation or recreation, work or service, nourishment, and association. That's kind of the one we're touching on today. Speech, study, conduct, and meditation. So with association, Norm said, those of like mind will be attracted to you and you to them. Frequent the company of those who embody that persuasion you wish to obtain. And as much as we can really get with social media these days, we can really get in our own bubble of like only hearing from and only interacting with people who are already of our same like mind. So this is not to say only do that. Like it's good to see the whole world and to see different perspectives. But there is something that can really benefit to spend time with people who are looking for that same thing you're looking for, who have that same deep desire to see God out in the world, in everything you see, to find God within you, to realize that loving presence, and then to live from that loving presence. And because you can encourage each other, you can support each other when one person is having you come into meditation sometimes and your mind is a little bit busy. When you walk in and sit down, sometimes you like miraculously sit down and your mind clears up. And that is like, I just figured somebody else was doing a lot of good work for me, sitting nearby. And then other times I'm really working it and it felt so, and I'm doing pretty good, but it only came across feeling so. And I think, well, maybe the other people sitting next to me got that nice, clear feeling or something. So we really help each other. We're interconnected. We're all one. And we have a lot of power to encourage each other. One of the things I think is so great about Norm's teachings is that he emphasized that this discovering of the divine within ourselves is available to everyone. We all can turn towards that and make progress in it and realize the divine within us. It's up to us. Nobody has to be interested in that or anything. That's fine. That's fine too. We're not away from God or away from that presence just because we're not noticing it. Just like if you're breathing air all the time, but you may not be thinking about how there's like particles of oxygen and nitrogen and carbon dioxide and so forth in it. That's fine. We're just breathing the air. We're still in it. Just like we're immersed in the divine. We're made of it. We're immersed in it. We're just, we have the choice whether to pay attention to that and really realize the power that can bring to guide our choices in life and bring forth more love into the world and in our own lives. I'm going to go back to what I mentioned about how it's in everybody. And this is sometimes really challenging to see when you see somebody who is making choices that do not seem to be producing kindness or love or things that you might think would be positive results. And it can be so challenging to think of this, but making a habit of looking around us and remembering, it's easier actually to start with people you do see making positive things, but looking around and remembering that the divine is within each one of us can help draw that experience out of more people. And I think it's important work for us to do. I think it helps, even if you don't go interact with that person that you think is being extremely destructive or unkind or something like that. But you can, from afar, send that thought out that even they have the divine within them. Helps us bring that out from a distance. But especially also in our interactions, this is challenging because things frustrate us or, don't seem like they're going right. And it's a big life work to be able to grow that in our day-to-day interactions with our friends, our acquaintances, to be able to see that in the moment. So it kind of is a way of working that realization in the outer life while you also have your practice of meditation and you're working it in your inner life. It brings a little meshing of them together. So it's a challenge, it's something to think about as you go through your life, but when you can succeed in it, it's really valuable. And each successful time you do it, the better chance of doing it more. So I thought for a meditation, we could seed a thought. Now, if you have a meditation practice, you are welcome to do that. We're going to just have a silent meditation. So if you practice Kriya meditation, which is the practice that Norm and Yogananda taught, maybe you want to take the time to do that. If you practice something else, you can do that. If you don't have a technique, then these two phrases I'm going to say, you could silently think one on your inhale and then silently think the other on your exhale. And just pay attention to your breath and let it be relaxed and just be noticing it. And after a while, that might start to feel like too much to pay attention to. You can just let it fall away and sit in a peaceful moment. If you get distracted again, try going back to those thoughts and your breath. So we can sit up in our chairs, and so you feel kind of like comfortably straight, a comfortably straight spine, and let your hands be relaxed in your lap. I kind of like on my thighs, and you can imagine you're looking out through a point, through your point on your forehead, out a little ways. Your eyes partially or all the way closed. And in your inhale, you can think of the phrase, I am here. And on your exhale, I am alive with divine love. On the inhale, I am here. On the exhale, I am alive with divine love. Just let your breath go at its own pace naturally. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am alive with divine love. What does it mean that the divine is a friend to us? I've often thought that everyone we know in our lives sees us partially, but not everything about us. And even we ourselves still only see and understand ourselves partially. But the divine sees us fully and loves us, knows everything, understands all of it, and is here to spend our whole lives with us, with love, a companion the whole way through. Even when we wish we had a friend here in the physical world to share a certain experience with, the divine presence that is always here is there sharing it with us. Or when we feel like we need space to be alone, the divine presence is not intrusive. It's there, but it still feels like we have the space we need. I always find myself wondering, how to make these things actually come to fruition in my life, though? How do I remember that when I'm not just sitting here listening to a talk about it and having a nice meditation with you all? I got a chance to look through these mindfulness cards that somebody gave Heiko for a birthday present sometime in the last couple of years, and one of them really like stuck with me as interesting, and I've played around with it a little bit. And the practice just says, use loving hands and a loving touch even with inanimate objects. And what I found is that I usually don't think at all about how I'm handling inanimate objects. It varies widely how I handle them. And bringing attention to that made me have more awareness of being loving when it came to interacting with non-inanimate people or other beings, pets, or anything. So that's something kind of you might enjoy playing with. A lot of mindfulness practices help us stay in the present moment. And that helps a lot with being able to drop back into what is always present. The divine is always present, our source. And I can recommend spending at least a few minutes every day in meditation to dive deeply within ourselves for that experience as well. So have some practices that are for when you're out moving through your day, and practice that takes you the other direction, that takes you within. Because I think the great joy of realizing the one great friend is that it's within everything. And also, wouldn't it be amazing if we were all expressing that in our interactions with everything and everyone. It's the life work. So don't expect everything to change overnight, but do work away at it. And we're all here together to walk along that path with each other and support each other in that and encourage each other and share ideas and remind each other that you are filled with the divine when you forget. Even though Norm had realized so much and had a lot of teachings to share, asked to be called Brother Norm. So we're here to walk with each other. Let's close with a little prayer. You're welcome to join me if you would like to say it too. Divine Spirit, we recognize you in everything. Let us see you in every face. Let our actions reflect your love. Draw us in to experience your peace. Amen.
Even now I hear the river of the day, daughter of the sky, singing as she plays. Even now I see the beauty, light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise, opening my eyes, and my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I hear the silence, earth around the sun, mother of us all, oh son, a billion brothers one. Even now I hear the singing, angels of the Lord, sailing swiftly through the sky, a mighty ship with oars. And my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I see the beauty, light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise, opening my eye. Even now I hear the wisdom my soul is reaching